If you move to Australia this year, you could qualify for visa benefits that most people don't even know exist yet. And if you miss this window, you might be waiting another 5 to 10 years for the same opportunity to come back. Welcome back to Aussie Gateway, the channel where we break down everything you need to know about moving to, living in, and building your future in Australia. I'm so glad you're here today because what I'm about to share with you is genuinely one of the biggest immigration updates Australia has announced in recent years. Whether you are a skilled worker dreaming of a stable career abroad, a student planning your international education, or a family trying to reunite on Australian soil, today's video is going to change the way you think about your options. So make sure you watch this entire video because I'll be covering every single detail of the new visa changes, who qualifies, what you need to do right now, and most importantly, how you can take full advantage of this opportunity before it's too late. Let's get into it. Australia has always been one of the most sought-after destinations in the world, and for good reason. It offers world-class healthcare, top-ranked universities, one of the strongest job markets globally, and a quality of life that very few countries can match. But for years, people have struggled with the complexity of the Australian immigration system. The point system, the skill assessments, the English language requirements, the processing times. It has been overwhelming for millions of applicants around the world. But in 2026, the Australian government has made a bold move to reshape its immigration framework, and the changes are significant, wide-reaching, and in many cases, genuinely exciting for prospective migrants. The first and perhaps most talked about change is the expansion of the skilled occupation list. Australia's skilled migration program has always been built around matching foreign workers with industries that are experiencing shortages. But the new 2026 update has dramatically widened that list. Dozens of new occupations have been added across sectors like healthcare, engineering, construction, information technology, education, and aged care. This is huge because it means thousands of professionals who were previously locked out of the skilled migration pathway now have a door open to them. If you are a nurse, a civil engineer, a software developer, a teacher, an electrician, or even a social worker, there is a very strong chance that your occupation is now on the updated list. The government has listened to industry demands and responded with a more flexible and inclusive framework. The second major update is the changes to the points-based system for the general skilled migration pathway. Under the previous structure, many applicants found themselves falling just short of the required points threshold, especially those who had completed their education abroad or had work experience outside of Australia. The new adjustments give additional points for certain overseas qualifications for working in regional Australia and for completing short-term skill development programs that are approved by the government. This means that even if you did not study in Australia, you now have more ways to boost your point score and become competitive in the invitation rounds. The government is essentially saying that talent and skill matter more than just where you happen to complete your degree, and that is a very welcome shift. Third, let's talk about international students because this update includes some of the most significant changes for this group in over a decade. Australia has long been one of the top 5 destinations in the world for international students, and the government wants to make it easier for those students to transition into the permanent workforce after graduation. Under the new 2026 rules, international students who graduate from Australian universities in certain high-demand fields will now receive extended post-study work rights. Instead of the previous 2 to 4 year graduate visa, students graduating in areas like nursing, engineering, teaching, and trade occupations can now access up to 6 years of post-study work rights. This gives graduates meaningful time to gain Australian work experience, strengthen their visa applications, and build a genuine life in the country. Furthermore, students who study and graduate in regional Australia will receive an additional 1 year of post-study work rights on top of the standard entitlement. Australia has been pushing hard to encourage migration and settlement outside of its major cities like Sydney and Melbourne, and this policy change is part of that broader strategy. Regional areas like Queensland's Sunshine Coast, South Australia's Adelaide Hills, and Tasmania are actively looking for young, skilled workers, and the government is creating strong incentives for students to consider these locations rather than defaulting to the major urban centers. Now let's discuss the employer-sponsored visa pathway, which has also seen meaningful reform. The temporary skill shortage visa, commonly known as the TSS or Subclass 482, has been updated with several key improvements. One of the most important changes is the reduction of the minimum salary threshold for certain occupations, making it easier for employers in regional and rural areas to sponsor overseas workers without being priced out of the process. At the same time, the pathway from a temporary employer-sponsored visa to permanent residency has been streamlined. Previously, many workers on sponsored visas faced uncertainty about whether they could transition to permanent residence. The new framework creates a clearer and more predictable pathway, reducing the anxiety that has historically made this route less attractive for many migrants. Another important announcement relates to the parent visa category. Australia has one of the longest waiting times for parent visas in the world, with some families waiting up to 30 years for their parents to join them permanently. While the new changes do not eliminate this backlog overnight, the government has committed to increasing the annual cap on contributory parent visas and has introduced a new temporary parent visa that allows parents to stay in Australia for up to 5 years at a time with the option to renew. This is not a permanent solution, but it is a meaningful step forward for the hundreds of thousands of Australians who have been separated from their elderly parents due to immigration backlogs. For those looking at business and investment migration, the 2026 update also brings changes to the business innovation and investment visa stream. The financial thresholds and business turnover requirements have been recalibrated to reflect the current economic environment, and new pathways have been created for entrepreneurs and startup founders who want to build their businesses in Australia. The government has recognized that entrepreneurship creates jobs and drives economic growth, and the updated visa framework reflects that understanding with more flexible criteria and faster processing commitments. Processing times have also been a major pain point for applicants across all visa categories. The Australian Department of Home Affairs has announced a significant investment in digital infrastructure and staffing to reduce processing times across the board. The goal is to bring the median processing time for skilled migration visas down to under 6 months, which would be a dramatic improvement compared to the delays that many applicants experienced in recent years. This commitment is backed by new technology systems that are designed to automate parts of the assessment process and reduce the bottlenecks that have caused so much frustration for applicants and their families. So what should you do right now if any of this applies to you? The first thing is to check whether your occupation is on the updated skilled occupation list. You can find this on the official Department of Home Affairs website, and it is absolutely essential that you verify this before taking any other steps. Second, if you are already in Australia on a student or temporary work visa, speak to a registered migration agent as soon as possible. The transition rules under the new framework may benefit you directly, and you want to make sure you understand your options before your current visa expires. Third, if you are planning to study in Australia, research which universities and which programs qualify for the extended post-study work rights. Not every course in every university will be eligible, so the details matter enormously here. Fourth, if you are a skilled worker considering employer sponsorship, start engaging with potential Australian employers now. With the updated salary thresholds and clearer permanent residency pathways, more employers are willing to consider sponsoring overseas workers than ever before. The bottom line is this: Australia is actively competing for global talent, and the 2026 visa changes are a clear signal that the country is serious about attracting the best and brightest from around the world. The opportunities that these changes create are real, they are significant, and they will not last forever. Immigration policy can change with a new government or new economic priority, so the window that exists today may not look the same 2 or 3 years from now. That's everything you need to know about Australia's biggest visa changes of 2026. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button because it genuinely helps more people find this information who need it. Subscribe to Aussie Gateway so you never miss an update, and drop a comment below telling us which part of these changes affects you the most. Are you a student, a skilled worker, or someone trying to bring your family to Australia? We read every comment, and we create content based on what our community wants to learn. Until next time, keep moving forward and we'll see you in the next video right here on Aussie Gateway.